Joining us now in the studio to talk about Jerusalem and the Israeli-Palestinian peace deal is a former Deputy Foreign Minister and Ambassador to the United States, Danny Ayalon. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Natasha.
All right, Ambassador, let's start out with the biggest story of the day. The U.S. Embassy moved to Jerusalem, which is not going to happen now. Are you surprised that the White House, upheld the status quo that we've seen happen?
I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, but not surprised. I think most Israelis are disappointed, including, of course, the government of Israel. But I think that it was expected on two accounts, or for two reasons. First and foremost, Trump really is trying to move the Palestinian-Israeli negotiation forward. He tries to jumpstart the entire political process. And he understands that in order to do that, he cannot just take a step which the Palestinians will absolutely object, the Arab countries, which he also wants to bring in. So they would also push the Palestinians into the table and into concessions.
It just seems like everybody was so convinced that he was actually going to hold this promise, right? And now that it's not happening, is there really any hope left for an embassy move?
Well, I would say that this is a wait-and-see game. I believe that Trump will wait to see whether the Palestinians are stepping up to the table. Are they being flexible and making concessions? If they will do that, if they will be very forthcoming in the process, I believe the embassy will wait. But if he will see no chance of moving forward, I think then there is nothing to lose, and then he will do it.
Well, the other side to this is that many were pushing for this embassy move, but it did seem like there were some Israeli officials who were not necessarily in support of it and were worried about the implications they could have on the future of peace talks between not only the Israelis and the Palestinians, but just really Israel's place in the region as a whole. Would it be a positive move for this to happen right now, for the embassy to be moved?
At the end of the day, Natasha, yes, because I think Jerusalem goes down to the core of the Jewish identity. I think it transcends politics, and it's not just symbolic, it's not just strategic, it's much more than that. And there is no good time or bad time, and I believe once you do it, everybody will accept. It's like in 1980, everybody was pouncing on Menachem Begin at the time where he annexed, or when he officially reunited Jerusalem. And everybody said, the sky is going to fall. Nothing happened. The Arabs always threaten. And I think the downside here is that once Trump promised, and then the Palestinians and the Arabs threatening not to do it, this is yielding to threats, which can be a slippery slope and reflect badly on the United States and its deterrence.
Now, what about these reports that Trump yelled at the Palestinian President Abbas? Can we give any credence to this? Do you think that this actually happened? I mean, Abbas did admit it, but it seems a little outrageous, no?
I would say I'm not surprised that Abbas admitted, because it really plays to his interest to show his people that he was really tough, that he is not willing to compromise to the extent that Trump had to yell at him. Whether it happened or not, it's anecdotal. It has no significance.
Well, I guess it depends on which way you choose to look at this story and which way you want to interpret it. But I guess in your opinion, the fallout is not going to be a great one.
No.
No. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ambassador Danny Ayalon.